Okay, so Zero Dark 30 is the newest film from Kathryn Bigelow. It's a little controversial because there's waterboarding scenes of torture, the whole Osama bin Laden case, and it's also controversial in the fact that Kathryn Bigelow didn't get an Oscar nomination for her for directing. And at one point, there was rumors that she could be the front runner as soon as this movie premiered. So I actually seen this film last week when it came out, but this review's a little late because I wanted to re-see it before I did the review. I fell asleep for a few minutes in the movie. It's not a fault of the film or anything. I just go see movies right after work, and if I don't have anything to eat or drink, sometimes I'll just fall asleep. It's not a fault of the film or nothing. But so for the film Zero Dark 30, when I first walked out, I didn't really know what to say about it because I'll be honest, I don't know what I'd seen. I'd fallen asleep during a pretty crucial part of the film, and I kind of just didn't put the whole film together. I knew what was going on and everything, but I just kind of just dazed off. And anyway, so today after seeing it, I really, really like this movie. I think the acting in this film is tremendous. Obviously, Jessica Chastain is probably the front runner for Best Actress. If it were up to me, I would have to. It's definitely between her or Jennifer Lawrence. I like both of their performances. They're totally different characters, and they're in their own ballpark. But she really handles herself in this film very well. And there's some great talent in this film that she goes head to head with. And a lot of people that this could be their big break. And one of those is Kyle Chandler, who's having a terrific year. He was in another film just like this, Argo, he was great in that, and he was terrific in this. I think he was tremendous. And then Jason Clarke, who honestly stole the show for me. If I had to say, I'd say Jason Clarke is the best actor or best performance in this entire movie. James Gandolfini is having a good year. He was terrific in he was good in Not Fade Away, and he was very good in Killing Them Softly. He's more good work in this, so it's a big year for all these performances in this movie, and this is like the pinnacle of all of them. I think they're all great in this movie, especially even the soldiers. I wish they were in it more. I wish there was a whole movie based upon simply the soldiers because they were all great too. But enough with the acting. Let's get into the movie and the storyline. This movie is my biggest problem with this film. It's more of it's been talked about, but it's more of like a documentary. I mean, it's honest to God like what happens to killing Osama bin Laden, and because of that, I don't really see myself rewatching this movie. And if it were up to me, like I would say how I rank my films in my top 10 list are all based upon rewatchability as well. This is probably the best made film I've seen this year. I will give it that. The acting is tremendous. The direction is terrific. The story, the dialogue, everything. I can't knock a thing in this film. But the point that I will never want to... I mean, it was hard for me to I've been mustering up to watch it for the last week or so. I just haven't had the time. I mean, it's almost 3 hours long, and it's a lot of shit to watch. Like, you can't just put it on in the background and pay. You have to pay attention to this film. There's just so much going on. There's so many characters, so many like names, and so much shit. You have to pay attention to it. But the whole last sequence of the film is just brilliant. It is just breathtaking. The actual raid of the compound in which bin Laden is in is truly brilliant. One of the best moments and scenes of a film this year. But compared to like a movie like Argo, I think Argo is a very fun movie. There's not it's less complex than Zero Dark 30. It's kind of like its little brother. But I would say I like Argo more. It's definitely higher in my top 10. And it's just because I could rewatch Argo plenty of times. I just don't see myself rewatching Zero Dark 30. It's even though it's a tremendous film, and it's just I would give her the best director if I could. The script, everything about this movie is terrific, but the acting, I can go on, but it's all about that rewatchability, and that's the one thing that I think a lot of people, that make this. I've read a lot of different opinions, and people go, "This movie's great. It's good, but it's not great," or "It's great, but it's not amazing." And I think a lot of that has to do with it's almost like a documentary, and it's not like a fun documentary that's rewatchable. It's like it's full of information type of documentary, and it's not like The Hurt Locker. I don't know why people compare this movie to The Hurt Locker, because The Hurt Locker is a fictional, it's a popcorn flick almost. It's definitely not like Transformers or Avengers, but it's an enjoyable popcorn flick that has a lot of rewatchability. Aside from maybe the last 30, 40 minutes of this film, I wouldn't say it's very rewatchable at all. But that's my biggest gripe with this movie. Aside from that, it's a tremendous acolyte and film. It's definitely a movie that's going to be on almost everyone's top 10 list. It's going to be a movie that in 10 years is talked about. And if it wins Best Picture, that's fine with me. I would have a different vote. We'll get into that when I post my top 10 movie list. But if it wins, it doesn't shock me. It wouldn't shock me, and it definitely deserves it because it is a tremendous film. I think it should be seen by everyone, especially people who are. It's not a war movie, so there's war history behind it, but it's not a war movie, if that's what it is. It's definitely a CIA movie. Go see Zero Dark 30 if you haven't yet. You probably have. My review's a bit late, but better late than never. My computer's been acting up the past few days. So, go see Zero Dark 30. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. Definitely look forward to my top 10, my top 20, but preferably in my top 10 list. Have a good one.